Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to begin my Mayans MC retrospective with a review of Season 1. Mayans MC is a spin-off to Sons of Anarchy, which I have a full playlist for if you're interested, and focuses on the Mayans motorcycle club originally featured in that show. As of this recording, the 5th and final season is set to air its last 3 episodes before concluding altogether, so I'll be reviewing the first 4 seasons in that time. It was created by Kurt Sutter and Algan James. It aired from 2018 and is set to conclude towards the end of July this year. Much like Sons of Anarchy, Mayans MC is generally held in high regard, and while I don't think it's as good as Sons of Anarchy, it's still an incredible show and one of the best I've ever seen. So Season 1 of Mayans MC is set 2.5 years after Sons of Anarchy and focuses on Ezekiel Reyes, aka Easy, a prospect working for the Mayans, and his desire to make something of himself during his time in the club after a troubled past. And what did I think of Season 1? Well, while it's definitely the weakest season in not only the show, but in the entire Sons of Anarchy universe, it's still a great start in my opinion. So let's get into it. So first of all, this show does a lot to differentiate itself from Sons of Anarchy. You know, it takes place hundreds of miles away from the town of Charming and is instead set in Santo Padre, which comprises of a largely Latino population. The focus is of course on the Mayans instead of Sam Crow this time. It's a bit more unrestrained in terms of violence, profanity, and in some instances, visual effects. The first 2 seasons incorporate flashbacks, which is something Sons of Anarchy hadn't done. Technology has obviously advanced since then, you know, with cell phones and social media and all that. And it delves a little bit deeper into themes previously explored in Sons of Anarchy, such as immigration, drug smuggling, addiction, racism, etc. Now there's a ton of characters introduced in this first season, but I'm just gonna go over the most important ones. The main protagonist is Ezekiel Reyes, played by J.D. Pardo. Ezekiel is a prospect for the Mayans, but has yet to actually prove himself worthy. He's the gifted son of a proud Mexican family whose American dream was ruined by cartel violence, and now his drive for vengeance leads him down a path he never intended to go down and can never escape. He even has an eidetic memory, meaning he can vividly remember childhood memories, and while there are certainly parallels between him and Jax Teller, Ezekiel has his own distinct backstory and characterization. There's Angel Reyes, Easy's brother, and the secretary for the club. Their father is Felipe Reyes, played by Edward James Olmos, who you might recognize from TV shows like Battlestar Galactica and Dexter. His history prior to the simple life he lives now is quite fascinating, and easily turned him into one of the show's best characters. Marcus Alvarez returns from Sons of Anarchy, and is still the club's president 2.5 years later, although by the end of the season, his plans for the club's future were very unexpected, especially this early in the show. Tazza is the club's vice president and has a tragic past that comes back to haunt him later on in the show. The only question is, how is he going to act on it? Bishop is not only the vice president for the club's Santo Padre charter, but also happens to be a cousin to Alvarez. Coco was a former Marine veteran before joining the club, and a lot of his character arc has to do with family drama, most of which was executed very well on the show, and he also ended up becoming one of my favorite characters. Creeper, a fiercely loyal member of the club and a former drug addict, is played by Joseph Raymond Lucero, a real-life former gang member and convict who you might recognize from his guest appearances on Dr. Phil. There's a couple of other characters aside from just the club members, such as Miguel Galindo, the head of the Galindo cartel that was introduced back in Season 4 of Sons of Anarchy, and the husband of Emily Thomas, a former love interest of Ezekiel's. Jose and Dita Galindo are Miguel's parents, and the last character I want to mention is Luisa Espina, the leader of a rebel group known as Los Olvidados, and she holds a personal grudge against the Galindo cartel in particular, and And on top of all this, expect to see a few returning characters from Sons of Anarchy along the way. And the only other thing worth mentioning is the finale, as the club undergoes a series of changes leading to an uncertain future. Now, the first issue I have with this season is that despite all of its neat ideas and innovations and new cast of characters, you can tell the writers are still trying to figure everything out. Not all of the characters are fully realized. Story-wise, there are some rehashed ideas from Sons of Anarchy, and so it doesn't fully escape the shadow of that particular show. And the season struggles to find a consistent pace, as most of the episodes are quite long. But other than that, this is still a great start to the show. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Season 1 of Mayans MC. Next time we're going to be looking at Season 2. So thank you all for watching, guys. Please be sure to like the video, share it and subscribe, ring the bell, take care, and I'll see you soon.